We need to talk about Ruben Amorim in today's video because I've sensed a bit more frustration among the Manchester United fans in the last week towards Ruben Amorim, and that is probably because we're not improving. There seems to be mistakes he's making with the wing backs. We're incredibly boring to watch. It's a very reserved approach, and there are a small percentage of United fans that are probably a little bit concerned or worried about Ruben Amorim or the way we're setting up or how we are dominated by Leicester for 60, 70 minutes of their games. We're going to have a conversation about Ruben Amorim. By the way, I'm just going to make this clear. I am not Ruben Amorim out. The players need to go first. The players did not try or give 100% yesterday, and Ruben Amorim has not been backed by the board. I'm going to talk points of reasons to back Ruben Amorim. I'm going to talk about reasons of concerns for Ruben Amorim, the Delo obsession, the wing-back obsession. It's going to be a very fair, honest conversation, but until Ruben Amorim has a summer where I can say he's been backed and the right profiles come in, I can't fully judge him. If he gets backed and the right profiles are in and we do not see progression under Ruben Amorim next season, that's when I have concern. But I will state right now, the biggest problem at United is the players, not the manager. And there's things that Ruben Amorim's got right, like actually playing Amad Diallo unlike Ten Hag, and there's things he's got wrong. The low at left wing back doesn't work. Why didn't we try Dorgu there? You know, when we play Mazraoui and Delo at wing back together, we don't score. Why don't we move Amad back there for a game or two, even though he's the best 10? So in today's video, we're going to talk and have a breakdown about Ruben Amorim because other than the Everton win, none of the wins under Ruben Amorim have been convincing. We haven't got any better since he's come in. I think in terms of structure and out possession structure, in terms of organisation, actually seeing a system, we have got better. But on the pitch, we're still incredibly poor. We're not scoring. There's not much improvement there in players, and we do look a mess. Now, again, Anthony and Rashford lost. They weren't replaced. Ruben Amorim clearly needs attacking reinforcement. This was a squad that was on track to achieve 13th place with Eric Ten Hag. Ruben Amorim comes in, plays a completely different style of football, and is on track to finish 13th place. This isn't the manager. This is the squad. The squad is the biggest problem. I want to make that clear. But we've got to talk about Ruben Amorim, because he's not been backed. These are not his players, and the players do not go 100%. And for me, there needs to be a good squad overhaul. The most important thing Man United have got is recruitment this summer, getting the players out that need to go and getting the right players in and getting Ruben Amorim 5 players that suit his system. And if we don't see progress next season, that's an area for concern. But what Ruben Amorim is saying is his tactic now is to implement what he'd be doing next season, this season. So next season, he doesn't find himself in the same position. He could adapt now. We could get more wins. We could get more points. But if he wants to play a certain brand next season, it's not going to work. That's Ruben Amorim's sort of mindset, and that's fine. It's short-term pain for long-term gain. We deserve to finish 13th last season. We just had the quality to get over the line and finish, 7th, 8th. And it's coming back to bite us. You know, Ten Hag was on track to probably finish 13th with us. I know it's got worse under Ruben Amorim, but he's not been back. We've lost 2 attackers since Ruben Amorim's come in, and these are not his players. We were on track to have this kind of season under Eric Ten Hag. But it's not convincing in the sense of Ruben Amorim hasn't made us better. Now, I always said I don't think a new manager comes in and massively improves us. He's done things like playing Amad Diallo, right decision. But ultimately, this is the players. They suit Ten Hag's system. They don't suit Amorim's system. We deserve to finish 13th last season. We deserve to finish 13th this season. We look set to finish 13th under Amorim. And it's worrying. There is worries because while I think Amorim's improved his out of possession and structure, we look out of ideas, we look unlike scoring. You know, I thought other than the Everton game, I've not been convinced. I thought Amorim's approach in recent games has been too defensive, whether it's the 2 fullbacks against the Southampton, 2 natural fullbacks playing against the Brighton or Crystal Palace when, you know, we know that they provide nothing in attack, or taking Dorgu off and persisting with Delo at the left wing back. Amorim's making some big calls wrong. Ten Hag needed to go, Ten Hag had to go, and the Amorim project is long term. But I do have worries in the sense of why did it take him for the final 10 minutes versus Leicester, 20 minutes versus Leicester to actually play a high line? Why is he setting us up so reserved, so pragmatic? I know we don't have ball carriers. I know we don't have the players that he wants, but the setup was poor. And I'm not saying adjust your setup too much, but I'm saying there has to be little adjustments you can make. You've got to keep the same setup. You've got to keep the same structure because that's what you're going to go with. And you need to learn which players can do that and which players can't do that. And so the players learn your system. But there's certain little tweaks that you could be making. And I look at Ruben Amorim, and I know that sporting fans are very confident he will succeed at United if backed. These are not his players. He's not been backed. He was not backed in January. He's a good manager. I believe he can succeed. I believe a lot of work needs to be done. It's not going to be overnight success. You know, we've got to get rid of a lot of players, bring a lot of players in. A busy fixture list has not helped Amorim. There's been a lack of time with him to train with the players. The squad just isn't that good enough that I don't think many other managers would get us playing better. But we don't seem to be getting better since Ten Hag's left. In fact, we seem to be getting worse. And I think that's maybe the worrying aspect. And I keep saying to myself, well, these aren't Amorim's players, these are Ten Hag's players, so Ten Hag should be doing better. We didn't replace Anthony, we didn't replace Rashford. And while things look bad now, and while we're playing bad football now, this is a very much a long-term game, short-term pain content sort of period where it's like, you know, in the long term, we'll benefit from instilling Amorim systems doing this. Will benefit in the long term for it, because if we adapt to get through this season, so we finish 8th, and this season's already a write-off, so there's no point in adapting just to finish 8th instead of 13th, and then we try and do what we're doing this season next season, we might fall back on it because Amorim's not done it, the players don't know it, he doesn't know which players can do it and can't do it. Amorim implementing a system now, he's learning about the players who can do it, what he wants to do, the players know what he wants to do, so that it should benefit us more in the long term, whereas Ten Hag came in, tried a different approach, didn't work, went and adapted. You know, it's a situation under Amorim when we're 13th, we're playing bad football, we're so boring to watch, we're not scoring goals. It's really uninspiring. And I can understand this frustration with Amorim from people, and I can understand why fans are concerned. But what I am going to say is the lack of intensity wasn't just on Amorim, that is on the players. The players were not trying, the players were not giving 100%. There was an absolutely depleted squad, and Amorim can only do so much with so little tools, and he's not been backed. I've always said this, my judgment on Amorim will be next season, when he's been backed, when he's had a good summer window, when the right profiles are in, I want to see progress. I'm not expecting top 4 finish, but I want to see progress. I want to see football. I want to see football that I enjoy watching, something to be positive about, something to get behind. That's what I want to see from Ruben Amorim. I'm not Ruben Amorim out. I think it'd be silly to be Ruben Amorim out this early. He's not had a window. I want him to succeed. I believe he can succeed from the sporting fans I've spoken to. But next season, I want to see progress when he's got his signings in. Because the decisions with Delo persisting at left wing back, the very defensive approach, the consistency of 2 defensive fullbacks playing at wing back together when we know we play much better with one, there's concerns there around Amorim. He got it wrong versus Crystal Palace, and he got it wrong versus Leicester, and he was bailed out by his subs. He's getting things wrong. It's okay to get things wrong. So does Pep. So do other people get things wrong. Other people get things wrong. But we have to talk about that. There's things that are a big mistake. Now, I saw this on Twitter. Ten Hag experimented with a 4-3-3 for 2 games in his debut season, then dropped it after we were thoroughly outplayed. In the second year, he tried a 4-3-3 again for 2 matches before ditching it for the same reason. That year, using a 4-2-3-1, we ended up finishing 8th. This season, also the 4-2-3-1, we were languishing at 13th when Ten Hag was sacked. So 4-3-3 was a disaster, 4-2-3-1 is now terrible, and 3-4-2-1 a problem too. Consider this. The real issue lies with the players. It's about their mindset, their effort, and their toxic atmosphere created by a team of overpaid, overrated, complicated individuals. Not a tactical system, excuses of a lack of hard work. Trust Ruben Amorim and have patience, he'll be successful here. And I think it's not a question of change the system, it's change the system that. It is, no matter what system we play, some of the players can't execute that. Some of the players aren't good enough. The environment needs to change. So many things need to change at United. We need to get a lot of players out. We need to get a lot of new players in. And this is why I back Ruben Amorim. I think Ruben Amorim can be successful. I spoke to sporting fans. They love him. I truly believe he can be successful at United. He's not been backed. And for me to be sitting here saying Ruben Amorim out this early and when he's clearly not been backed would be absolutely ridiculous when you can see the players are not giving 100% and trying and he's got limited options. Next season when he gets signings in, of course I will need to see progress. But the biggest problem for me lies within the recruitment. We've not done very well there, within the decisions of those at the top. Amorim has to deal with players that aren't his, and that's going to be difficult. I want to see better results. I want to see more fight from the United players, which isn't Amorim's fault. But yeah, I just wanted to sort of use this video to talk about Ruben Amorim because the tide is turning. I'm seeing people being quite negative about Ruben Amorim. And look, other than the Everton game, I don't think any of our wins under Ruben Amorim have been convincing, and that is a bit of a concern. It's a massive concern. We don't look like scoring goals. We look worse than we did under Ten Hag. It is poor. It is bad. I'm not, not noticing that. I've said my frustrations. He got it wrong with Dorgu. He got it wrong with Delo. I've made my frustrations very clear. But I also know that this squad is bad. I think no matter who the manager was, we were on track to have a bad season unless the investment was there. Ten Hag's wasted all that money. We need to be doing better than we are. I believe we could be playing better than we are. I believe some of the players aren't showing up. Some of the players aren't trying, and the system obviously doesn't help some of the players. But for me, I'm back Amorim. I want Amorim to succeed. I obviously do have some concerns. There's some things I've seen, and I think, I don't rate that decision. I don't rate that decision, but he's a manager. And hopefully he does succeed. And hopefully we back him. And I think with the right backing in the summer, he can succeed. But we need to make sure that we back him properly and we get the right signings in for United, because it's a bit of a dark day at United. We just won a game, but we won it because of an offside goal. We were not particularly convincing. I need to see more from Amorim. I need to see more fight from the United players. We need to be scoring goals. We need to look more convincing. Maybe this will happen with time. Sporting fans seem confident Amorim will succeed. I hope they're right. Thank you for watching. Bye.